Hi, I'm Corporal Mark Ivey, and welcome to Partners in Public Safety. This show is all about giving you the information you need to keep your family safe right here in the city of Wilmington. On today's show, we have Ms. Joan Foltz and Yolanda McCoy from the West End Neighborhood House. They're here to talk about the work their organization is doing on the west side of Wilmington and the work they're doing with the Community Policing Unit to build our neighborhoods. But first, in our special feature segment, we're going to show you the Wilmington Police Marine Unit. You probably see police officers in patrol cars, on foot, or even on bicycles. But did you also know we're on your waterways? Right here on the Christina River, we have a Marine unit that protects us. This unit was founded in 2002 following the terrorist attacks of 9/11. The primary mission, of course, is to protect against terrorism, but there's a lot of other things they do as well. Let's take a look. Joining me now is Master Corporal Anthony Easterling and Senior Corporal Matthew Hazard of the Wilmington Police Marine Unit. Thank you both for joining us, and thanks for having me here today.
Good to be here.
So, Matt, you're going to be our pilot today, right?
Correct.
So you want to go get us tuned up, whatever you got to do to get this boat started?
We can do that. I'll get it all fired up and ready to go.
Anthony, how long have you been a member here of this unit?
I've been a member of the Marine Unit since the inception for 11 years.
Okay, and 11 years ago, was this the boat standing right behind us? Is this the boat we bought, or is this a different boat?
This is a different boat. The first boat we had was a 20-foot Boston Whaler, which is in front of this boat. And it was obtained through a federal grant by then Inspector Martin Donahue, Captain Jerry Custis, and Sergeant Don Bluestein.
And the purpose of having a Marine unit, I think the primary mission, correct me if I'm wrong, is to protect against terrorism. Is that our primary mission here?
That's correct. That's our primary mission. However, besides our primary mission, we have other missions of which we assist Coast Guard. We have a mutual aid agreement with the United States Coast Guard, Sector Bay, Philadelphia. We've worked with New Jersey State Police, Delaware State Police, and other local law enforcement and federal agencies.
And so that brings us back to this boat that we have right here. When did we get this one?
We obtained this boat in 2004, and it is called the Silver Ship.
And what's the, this looks like a pretty big boat. How many guys can fit on it?
You can fit as many as 20 people on this boat at one time for tactical purposes. It is a 34-foot Silver Ship. It has two 225 Honda engines on it. It's equipped with a FLIR, forward-looking infrared system, camera system. It's equipped with a machine gun mount, which is in the front for SWAT purposes if they had to do tactical duties on the waters. And it's equipped with a lot of other mechanical instruments that are very interesting to use. You have depth finders, and we have other tactical equipment that is on the boat, which deems us to be ready for any type of event.
So can we go on and take a look?
Sure, why not?
Let's do it.
Mark, on the unit, we stress safety. Safety is paramount with the Marine unit. No one gets on the boat without having a PFD. And what I mean by PFD is a personal flotation device. This is a Class 3 personal flotation device that we use in law enforcement. So I'm going to don it. And what I mean by donning is putting it on, basically, it's just like an airbag in a car. If a member falls over in the water gets inside of these holes, the meter goes up, and it inflates. And it brings the person back up on chest level to the water area so that we can see them. So I'm going to don mine. And you make sure that it is snug. As you can see, it's identified who we are with the Wilmington Police patch, and on the back of it, you have the word police. So if you're in the water and you need assistance, people know who you are. Now, I'm going to give you yours, and what I want you to do is don it like I did mine.
Put it on like a shirt.
There you go.
Clip there.
Right. The strap's on the side to make it snug.
Very good. So now I noticed just from what I'm wearing right here, it's obviously they designed it to be slimmer so that you can access your equipment, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And then when you hit the water, it automatically inflates and it looks more like a normal life vest.
Yes, it definitely looks like a normal tactical life vest that we use.
Well, now that we're perfectly safe in case I fall in, although I'm a good swimmer. You have to be a good swimmer to do this, right?
Yes, you do.
Right. Well, I'm a good swimmer, but just in case, I got my vest on. we're right by the engines. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Yes, they are two 225 horsepower Honda engines.
And that's obviously what makes a boat go. And how fast can this thing go?
Well, this boat can definitely get up to like 35 miles an hour, or what we call 35 knots.
Okay.
On the water, mileage is turned into knots.
And that's all controlled from the, what's it called, the wheelhouse? Am I making that up?
Exactly. You can call it the wheelhouse, or you can call it the helm.
Okay. And let's go in there and have a look and see what this boat can do.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay, Mark, we're inside what we call the helm. Inside the helm, there's certain things that you need to be aware of. First of all, safety again. We keep with us a first aid kit. In this first aid kit, it comes in very, very handy. We also have a well here on which we place our tactical shotgun or any other equipment that we could place in there that will be helpful in our mission. Secondly, we have what we call throw bags. And I'll let you see one. Throw bag is basically if we go on a rescue mission and the person is out in the water, what we can do is the rope that's inside of this bag comes out and we can actually throw the bag to the person that needs help. These come in very handy.
They grab onto it and you
Exactly.
haul them in.
They're Coast Guard rated. We also keep binoculars on board so that we can better see what's coming at us or what we're looking for. We also keep a portable thermal imager on board. And what I mean by a portable thermal imager is that we have a FLIR system. However, that FLIR system does not look right or rear or to the starboard side or port or starboard side. So the fire department lets us use their thermal imager and it catches body heat.
And we're going to talk about the FLIR system in just a minute.
Exactly.
So, okay. And so this just, so if you were looking for someone in the water, this would potentially pick them up?
Yes, it will pick up their body heat.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as you can see, the cabin has 4 seats. The front port seat is usually used by the navigator
Okay.
or the first mate. The first mate uses the FLIR system so that the captain, who is the chief operating officer of this ship when he's on, anything that the captain says goes, regardless of what rank you are.
So the captain's chair's over here now.
Yes.
I got to ask, can I have a seat in it?
You know what, Mark? You can have a seat.
All right, let's do this. What else to do? What does all this stuff do?
Well, Mark, basically you are sitting in the captain's chair. You are in control of this vessel. And to give you more information, accurate information on what the captain does, I'm going to leave you in the great hands of Senior Corporal Matthew Hazard, who was one of our first captains of the Marine Unit to actually pilot this boat.
Oh, great. All right, get up here, Matt. You're up.
What are your questions? What do you?
All right. Well, the first thing I'm looking at is I see a screen. To a layperson, it looks like a GPS.
It is actually. It is mostly a GPS system. It has all the navigational charts. Gives us our speed, our nautical speed, our depth. It also has a radar overlay, which picks up any vessels that are in the area as well as obstructions above water.
So this brings just quickly another question in my mind. What's our actual patrol area? How far are we actually going up and down the Christina River?
The Wilmington water actually goes all the way up to Christina, up to Brandywine, and then out into the Delaware River as far south as the Delaware Bridge, over to the Jersey coastline at the high water mark is actually where our jurisdiction ends, and as far north as Commodore Barry.
So can we go for a spin?
We can.
All right, I think I'll let you drive here because I'll crash this. Here you go. Stay with us. We'll be right back with our special guests.
and Dunaway was young, fit, and still at risk.
I was an active mom who every day ran, and so at 30 years old, they discovered that I had a atrial septal defect, which is extremely common. They decided to perform open heart. I started doing great, and then I suffered the first of 2 strokes. If you become aware of the signs and symptoms, you can prevent from anything else from occurring.
I'm Dr. Ed Goldenberg, co-chair of Million Hearts Delaware. Each year, more than 2,000 Delawareans die from heart attacks and strokes. Many of these casualties can be prevented when people know their numbers. Know your risk and provide the ABCs of prevention. Join us in our effort to prevent 1 million heart attacks and strokes. Visit millionheartsde.com and get connected now.
Welcome back. At Partners in Public Safety, we talk a lot about the partnership between the police department, the fire department, and our Office of Emergency Management. But a huge part of partnering is partnering with the community. And to that end, we have had various different community groups on. Today, we're with Ms. Joan Foltz and Yolanda McCoy, and they're going to talk with us a little bit about the West End Neighborhood House and the work they're doing with our community policing unit. Joan, Yolanda, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the first question I've got for you is, what is the West End Neighborhood House, and where are you exactly?
West End Neighborhood House is a social service agency. We've been in existence more than 130 years. We're located obviously on the west side at the corner of 8th and Lincoln Streets, and we supply services for our customers that help them achieve self-sufficiency. And it's a variety of services, including tutoring, housing and financial management, education, youth services, etc.
And Yolanda, how did you become involved?
Actually, I became a volunteer at one point. I am a community outreach coordinator, and I was actually looking for work, and what better place to go than to the community center? So I came, and at that time frame, they were looking for someone to help with the surveys for one of our newer projects. And it just so happens. I said I was their person.
And Joan?
Well, I came about 15 years ago when we started our sister agency, Cornerstone West. That's a sister agency to West End Neighborhood House. And it's also the agency that spearheaded the coalition of West Side Grows Together. That's a coalition of businesses, nonprofits, residents, and civic leaders on the west side of Wilmington that works very intimately with the community policing unit.
So our West Side Grows Together is a program that you're running.
It's a coalition of individuals within the community.
And what specific things are you doing in that?
There are a variety of, there are actually 5 focus areas, and each of the individuals that sit on the steering committee as well as working groups are participating in one of those 5 focus areas. Some are one example is parks and gardens, another is housing, another is youth development, another is commercial corridor revitalization, which is the commercial corridors that exist on the west side. And so we're intimately involved in working with our community police officers in all aspects of the plan.
It's interesting, you mentioned that this is a group comprised of multiple different shareholders, stakeholders. And it seems to me that's the approach we're taking as a police department and as a city is working together, realizing we can't tackle it all by ourselves. And I'd like to hear a little bit more about how our community policing unit is helping you, because I think that's one of the things as a police department we're trying to do is get out there and partner with agencies and organizations such as yourself.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about the business?
Yes. Well, Parks and Gardens is actually one of the things that I'm focusing on. Right now, we're trying to build up Friends of the Parks for different parks that are in our footprint on the west side. By getting the community together, the residents, to have ownership of their parks, We see lots of times they're complaining about certain activities that are going on in the parks. We have reached out to the Wilmington Police Department and made them aware, and they've actually said that they will join our meetings and attend to find out exactly what's going on, what types of activities need to be mentioned, and what they need to be monitoring. So we look forward to having them come in and actually, take part, hear us out, hear the community out, find out how we can take ownership of our parks. Even though these parks may be small in stature, the children want to feel safe. The parents want to make certain that their children are safe while they're there at the parks. So if there's any type of activity that needs to be, if they need to be made aware of so that they can investigate perhaps further, maybe it's not an emergency at this moment, but it's something that needs to be taken a look at. We just want to make certain that they're aware. And we've already made strides with our first meetings. We have meetings coming up in August. So we're very pleased with it.
And that's very important because parks can be such a source of good. This is a place where children can feel safe, play, grow. But a lot of times we see that parks can be a source of, well, let's put it bluntly, not so good.
Right.
And if you have the wrong people hanging out in those parks, there's a problem. So there's definitely a role for the police department there to help you out. But
Yes.
we are not necessarily going to know what's going on in those parks unless the community comes forward and lets us know.
Exactly.
So when you talk with different community policing officers, you're helping out in the parks. Is there anywhere else they're helping out?
There actually are two other activities that are happening right now. One is a group of residents and community police officers and business owners that have been meeting for about 2 years. There was a problem area within the West Side that the community felt strongly about, and we addressed it with our community police officers, and this was about 2 years ago, and we've still maintained that core group of individuals that are the eyes and ears for the community, and then they share back with the community police officers what the status is and what's going on. And the initial issue has been resolved, but they continue to meet monthly to be able to address any other issues or get an update in status.
And what was that issue?
It was loitering. It was a corner store that we were suspicious that there was activity going on there that could have been drug related. There was a lot of coming and going from the houses that were contiguous to this corner store. And not only did the community police officers investigate and put a stop to what we thought was the bad activity, they used a variety of strategies. They came in with a unit that stopped all the cars on the corner one Friday night in the summer, and they checked everybody that came by. And they would come out at different times during the day and park their car down the block, and just to observe what was going on to make sure that there was a reduction in the activity. And then from the residents' perspective, we gave the residents all of the telephone numbers for our community police officers. And we asked them if they witnessed any suspicious activity, that they would call them and report it at that time.
So it was a real partnership.
Very much a partnership.
Real partnership.
Very much
And
a
it took a little
partnership.
time. It didn't happen overnight.
No. I would say that we got it together pretty quickly, a couple of months.
Right.
But once we got people talking, it came together very quickly.
So it's constant leadership, coordination, and
Correct.
cooperation that allowed us to have a success story.
Correct.
Now, are there any other areas we're working on now? What are we doing, or as a police department and with your Weston Neighborhood House, what's our next project?
Well, as part of the West Side Grows Coalition, we're always looking for opportunities to be able to strengthen the community. The Little Italy section of the West Side has been selected as the next pilot, or one of the next pilots, for the Stronger Neighborhoods. And that area runs from 4th Street to 11th Street, Union Street to Clayton Street. And essentially they're trying to mirror what they did in Browntown. And that is get out and be able to connect with people that they don't necessarily are able to connect with, both from a resident side and a community police officer side, and to be able to engage people within the community that don't normally participate or don't even know one another.
So how do we go about doing that?
Well, it starts with surveys, and Yolanda has participated with our community police officer in going door to door and doing surveys in certain areas, because we want to get some feedback from the community as to what it is that they believe the issues are, or what it is that they believe is wonderful about their community and they want to be able to sustain it. From there, we look at identifying block captains, which we've done in Cornerstone since we've been in business, which is 1999. We've looked at doing revitalization, but in very concentrated areas. So we have identified block captains in areas where we've worked before, but we need to do it on a broader basis. And once that has occurred, then we're going to bring the block captains together to be able to start reaching out further to the actual residents.
So Yolanda, you actually went out with the police officers and did these surveys. What's that like working with the police department, literally hand in hand?
Well, actually, the time that I went out, I did not have a police officer escort me, but it was great to actually talk to the people and make them aware exactly what we were looking for. They were excited to find out that the police wanted to know what was going on in their neighborhood. And when you read through the survey, it wasn't so much as in what crime is being committed, but whether or not how they would deal with certain crimes and whether or not the police needed to be involved in everything, in every aspect. How they would go about policing their own community as well as helping the Wilmington Police Department police it. So it was, they were very interested.
So these efforts and the work that you're doing, it's labor intensive. You need people to help.
Yeah.
You can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. So is there a way that someone, if they want to help, they see they're watching right now and they say, hey, I want to be a part of this, I want to volunteer. What's the best way for them to do that?
Okay. Well, they can give me a call because I am the outreach coordinator. My name is Yolanda McCoy, and my telephone number is 302-658-4171. My extension is 186. Or they can just reach out to me by email. I can give my email address.
Well, we'll put it up on the screen
Okay,
right
good.
now for people, and that way they can send an email and get involved.
If you have other listeners that have access to the city's website, they can go and contact any of the civic associations or the neighborhood planning councils on the west side, and they can get involved that way as well.
All right. Joan, Yolanda, thank you very much for joining us today, okay?
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
All right, and good luck.
Thanks.
All right. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have Inspector Frank Mull from the Fire Department Fire Prevention Unit.
All in together now. We can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll rope it up.
Cause we know how to jump.
We'll roll it out.
Cause we know how to skate.
We'll cut it down.
Cause we know what to eat.
We'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll ball it up.
Cause we know how to hoop.
We'll mess around.
Cause we know how to play.
We'll drop it down.
Cause we know how to dance.
We'll veg it up.
Veggie night and day.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
All in together now. We can make it better now.
Search We Can to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy.
Welcome back. It's been a while since we've talked about fire safety here on the show, and to help us with that, we have Inspector Frank Mull from the Wilmington Fire Department's Fire Prevention Unit. Thanks for joining us, Frank.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
So, what is the Fire Prevention Unit?
The Fire Prevention Unit was founded back in March. There's 3 of us now in the unit. For about the last 8 years, it's been Inspector Beverly Wiltshire. She's been working by herself. Now it's myself, Lieutenant Rick Yancey, and Beverly. We're working out of the old fire station on Gilpin Avenue. Once they moved into the new firehouse at DuPont and Gilpin, we moved into the new structure. I've been with the unit now since the end of March.
So what was the kind of motivation between expanding this unit? It's expanded now. We went from 1 to 3 officers, right?
Yes, that was the vision that Chief Good had when he became the chief of the fire department. He wanted to expand the fire prevention unit. We've always been a division of the fire marshal's office, but he wanted to expand it so we can get out to the community and educate people more about fire prevention.
I guess the idea being that if you prevent fires now, you don't have to fight them later.
That's correct. That's the main goal of the unit itself. We get out to the schools, we get out to the community groups. We love going out to community events. We're out at the farmers market just about every Wednesday trying to put out literature. We come out to civic association groups, any place that they want to talk to about any information about fire prevention.
So I know one of the main, I don't want to say it's the main thing, I won't step out of line here, but a huge thing in fire prevention and fire safety is what's called a life safety device. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yes, a life safety device would be something in your home or a business that would alert those subjects in the residence or the business that there is a fire or some sort of problem that they need to evacuate the building. A life safety device would be a smoke alarm or a smoke detection system. The smoke alarms would be something that you would have in your home that's battery operated. A smoke detection system would be something that would be hooked up to an alarm system that when it activated would actually go to an alarm company and would let them know that there's a fire in the building. Other life safety devices would be a manual pull station you would find in a business or school that would set off alarms and strobes and let people in those businesses or school or hospital would let them know to evacuate because there is a problem within the structure.
So backing up to what you said, it's something I didn't realize. A smoke detector and a smoke alarm are two different things. I've always called them all smoke detectors.
Right. That's something the NFPA has finally come out over the last couple of years. Smoke alarms would be the battery-operated alarm system you would get at a hardware store or you would get through the fire department. A smoke detection system would be something that's hardwired that would go directly to an alarm company and let them know there's a fire within the structure.
Now, if I'm a homeowner, do I need smoke alarms and smoke detectors or just smoke detectors?
That would be up to the homeowners. A lot of people have alarm systems, like say a burglar alarm system. That would be something that they could tie into their alarm system through their alarm company. Like I said, a smoke alarm would be battery operated that you would just put up into your ceiling, that if you had a fire within your home, that would activate and let everybody in the home know that, to get out.
And how many of those should a homeowner have?
You should have a smoke alarm on every floor of your home, including your attic and basement.
Okay, so and is there a specific, do you need one in your bedroom too, always?
We recommend not having them in the bedroom. We have them in the hallway outside your sleeping area. One of the things we try to tell folks is at night when they do sleep to keep the doors closed to their bedrooms. What happens is if you have a fire that would start on the first floor of your home and the smoke would activate the very first smoke alarm on your first floor. When smoke rises to the second floor, that would trigger the smoke alarm on the outside of your bedroom. We ask you to keep your open the doors closed to your bedrooms so that way no smoke would come into your room because it's the carbon monoxide in the smoke that is the killer. That's the one that puts you into a deeper sleep, and that's the main thing that will kill you before the fire actually is the smoke.
So you won't ever wake up. So
exactly.
It won't do you any good to have an alarm going off if you can't wake up because
right.
you've got the monoxide poison.
And I know a lot of parents are concerned, they won't hear their child at night with the door closed. We recommend if that's the case, get those little home monitoring systems that you could put one in the room and then one in your bedroom so you can hear your children at night. So in case there is a problem, you still know there's something going on.
So now if there is a problem, if there is a fire in your home, I know there's a lot of do's to help and there's a lot of don'ts, almost equally as important.
Right.
I think the most common fire that people run into is a grease fire, maybe from cooking or something like that. How do you handle that?
That's correct. One of the biggest don'ts we ask people to do is don't panic. Okay, if you have a fire, I know it's very scary to a lot of people. That's the first thing you can't do is please don't panic. One of what you were just saying, kitchen fires are our #1 problem we have. It's normally due to unattended. Usually a lot of people will start cooking in the kitchen, walk away from it, forget that they got chicken or grease or bacon frying on the pan, and it'll flare up. One of the things we ask people to do when you start cooking, make sure you have a lid next to your cabinet, right next to the stove. Have a pot holder handy. That way, if you do have a little flare up in your pan with the grease, you can take that lid and just place it right over top of the pan, shut the stove off, and it'll put the fire out. If you have a fire within your oven, if you're baking and you have a fire, please, whatever you do, keep the oven door closed, shut the oven off, and call 911 and have us come out. If any fire, you ever have any type of fire within your home, please call 911. We'll come out, check it, let them know that you had a fire, make sure everything's okay.
And in the summer, a lot of people are, this is on our cooking theme, a lot of people are now cooking outdoors. They're cooking outdoors on their grills, whether it's charcoal or propane. How do you handle those if you have a fire?
One of the things that we ask you to do, especially at the propane fires, first thing you do is, especially at the beginning of the summer, and also every time you go to cook, we ask you to check your propane tanks first. Make sure the connections to your propane tanks are properly secured. Also, look at the hose going from the tank to the grill itself. A lot of times they'll dry rot over the years. Another problem we've been having are animals. Critters have been going up, mice, rabbits, raccoons, things of that nature. They'll chew on the hoses of the rubber. They like the taste of the rubber, and you'll get little holes in the hose to the propane tank. And when you light that propane grill, you could actually trigger the fire from the gas coming from the hose, and now you have like a blowtorch effect coming off the tank. With the charcoal grills, one of the things we ask you to do is make sure the slots are closed on the grill as you are going ahead to start cooking. One of the things we want you to do is, once you've put the lighter fluid onto the coals, once you've got the fire going, please do not put any more fluid on it. A lot of times you'll see people squeezing the bottle, adding more fluid to the fire. And what you could actually do is, while you're squeezing the bottle, after you release the bottle, you could be actually sucking the fire back into the bottle, and it could explode in your hand. Once the fire is done, once you're done with the charcoals, we ask you to make sure you have like a metal container that you can put the charcoals into, add some water to that container, and make like a little bit of a mud to make sure that the coals are out. We ask you never use a paper bag or a plastic bucket to put those coals into, because it could start a fire. Those coals are usually still will be warm for at least 3 to 4 days if you don't add any water to it to actually smother and put them out. We also ask you, if you are cooking, make sure you keep the grill and either charcoal or propane at least 25 to 50 feet away from the home. That way, if you have a problem, it's not near the house.
Well, Inspector, thank you so much for joining us today. Those are some excellent fire safety tips, and hopefully people kind of take heed and be careful, especially when they're grilling. I didn't know about the squirrels
yes.
chewing on the propane
It's something
tank.
new. It's basically something we're just finding out.
Well, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right. And thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show today. We'll see you next time right here on Partners in Public Safety.